heroes acting out there on a silver screen. Come grab a seat, the popcorn is on me.
Camera speed.
Sound production, take one.
Hello, welcome to Meet Me at the Movies. I am Noel T. Manning II, joined by Thomas Manning, right here on Meet Me at the Movies, C19 TV. And yes, Thomas, I'm really excited. We're approaching the summer. Now, this is not our summer preview special because we're really in the preseason, although we've already had some fun here. But I'm excited. I heard about this new MCU film, Spider-Man Goes to Hawaii, and so I am prepared, man, because I want to meet the Spider-Man. So, what's the release date of that one?
Yeah. Well, I was just about to say, I think you are a multiversal Peter Parker who retired in Hawaii after like one mission and just never came back. So, and then I don't know, maybe took up work as a mall Santa or something.
I look more like the Red Guardian from Thunderbolts than I do Peter Parker. That's for sure. Well, Thomas, it's good to see you, man. We're glad to be spending time with you guys, talking about films, and we are hoping maybe next week to dive into kind of our summer thoughts, looking ahead to what we want to check out this summer. But one we checked out, we talked about the preseason. Preseason always starts either in April or early May, Thomas. We've seen this especially since the MCU kind of, planted its flag in the ground, and it's no different this year as the Thunderbolts really kind of barged into cinemas, and I think surprised a lot of people for sure, because we've had some kind of lackluster Marvel films in the past few years, and you and I have even talked about we just don't get excited that much anymore about the MCU, which is totally different than it was just a few years ago.
Yeah, so up until Avengers Endgame, you and I were in line for every movie on opening night, or sometimes even before opening night. We were reading everything we could about them, watching all sorts of YouTube analyses, and but since Endgame, a lot of the projects have been hit or miss for us both. There have been some really good ones in there, of course. Spider-Man No Way Home was just incredible, and Guardians of the Galaxy 3, WandaVision, some of the Disney Plus series have been great, but there has been so much that they've thrown at us since Endgame without putting as much care into the emotional development of it all, or at least that's the way it felt as compared to prior to Endgame and leading up to Endgame. And so, yeah, you and I have definitely been lukewarm on a lot of stuff, and especially some of the recent films, and I haven't even seen some of the recent Disney Plus series, but with Thunderbolts, from the moment I saw the first trailer, I was hooked by it, and the more you hear about the creatives behind it, Jake Schreier is the director, he was showrunner for the Netflix series Beef a few years ago with Stephen Yeun and Ali Wong, and that was one of my favorite TV series of the past few years. And then so many of the creatives and the below the line individuals working on this film, the production designers and cinematographers, editors, are people who have worked with independent studios like A24, and they've actually kind of put that into the marketing of this film. There was one teaser trailer a couple months ago, and it was like, from the editor of Minari, from the cinematographer of The Green Knight, comes the Thunderbolts. And I just think that's a really unique thing to see, that you very rarely, I don't think I've ever seen that in a massive studio like Disney, going out of their way to highlight some of the creatives who have worked on the smaller independent films like that. All that to say that I had high expectations coming in for Thunderbolts, and was happy to say that those expectations were met.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I will liken, you talked about watching the trailer for the first time, and I will liken watching that trailer for the first time to watching the trailer for Guardians of the Galaxy, the original, for the first time. It had that same kind of vibe to it. You could see the humor that was going to be pouring into this, but it was humor that felt natural, felt authentic. And I'm with you. It did not disappoint. But let me say this. One of the things that the trailers do not show is just how much of a heart this film has, and how it's a film that really does make you think. I mean, it dives into to some really dark areas, and also areas that everybody experiences in some point in their life. It looks at loneliness. It looks at times when people are depressed, and it takes you there. It truly does take you there.
Yeah, I think this explores mental health and mental illness in ways that I never really expected to see in the MCU, and it visually personifies the idea of confronting your worst fear or your darkest memory, really just the very depths of your shame, whatever it is that you're carrying with you. This film shows you that, or through these characters' eyes, they are facing it head on and have to, or else they're going to be stuck in that darkness, that void forever. And even when we get to the third act, where you typically have a massive action set piece, which you do have some action in the third act here, but it's so much more character driven, and really the dialogue is more impactful than the massive explosions or the over the top fights and action that we might be accustomed to seeing in the third act of a major big budget superhero film like this.
Yeah, the characters that we see here are many characters that we've either seen on the big screen or even in Disney Plus series before. Florence Pugh, Sebastian Stan, Wyatt Russell, David Harbour, Julia Louis-Dreyfus. All those are coming back, reprising roles that we've seen them in before. And we talked about this. I really think what sets this apart is it addresses other things like moral redemption, and kind of this ache of belonging, or wanting to belong, and feeling that you're carrying this emotional baggage that nobody else can understand. And what I loved about this is it found a way to show that we are better together. And I think ultimately this film does talk about the impact, or the powerful impact, that a community or a family can have. And it can be a found family. It doesn't have to be the family you're born into.
Yeah, and a brand new character that we see in this film is played by Lewis Pullman, of course, son of Bill Pullman. And we were talking about him earlier this week. I think the first time you and I saw him was in Bad Times at the El Royale, a film from back in 2018 that not many people saw, but it was one of our favorite films of the decade. Incredible performance from Lewis Pullman in that. You got Chris Hemsworth, Jeff Bridges, John Hamm, Cynthia Erivo, Kaylee Spaney, Dakota Johnson. So anyway, Bad Times at the El Royale. As soon as we saw Lewis Pullman in that, we knew that we were going to be seeing him continue to have a great career ahead of him. And I think his performance really makes this movie, and if his character didn't reach us emotionally on the level that it does, then this film would not have succeeded. But I think specifically his dynamic with Florence Pugh, I think that's really the emotional crux of this film. And it's without venturing into spoilers, Lewis Pullman's character is a guy with quite a scarred past, and he is doing everything he can to really run away from that. And this film shows that you can't exactly outrun whatever's chasing you if you don't reckon with it, if you don't face it down and actually ask those difficult questions of yourself and figure out how to confront that.
I'm glad you mentioned Florence Pugh. She just really blew me away on this. I did not expect to see the emotional depth that she was going to provide, and I really think she helped. She helped to shape this film as well, and she really pushed this film that looked at a trauma, a recovery from trauma, but also, as I mentioned before, found family. And to me, this film, it's a solid mix of humor, of heart, and hard truths that so many of us have to experience. I don't think it tries to replicate this Avengers level feel. I think instead it finds a way to dig deeper. It shows that for me that redemption isn't always flashy. It's messy, it's painful, and it's utterly human. And I really, really appreciated that about this. I think we're also reminded that even in our most broken state, we can fight for something greater, and most importantly, we can fight for someone else. A little bit of trivia about this one. Many of the Marvel films they rely so much on the big green screen. This one did a lot of location shoots, and I think that provided some added texture and grit to this movie.
Yeah, and I wanted to mention the cinematographer, Andrew Droz Palermo. He's actually been a guest on Meet Me in the Movies before. I interviewed him a couple years ago about his work on Moon Knight, the Disney Plus Marvel series. And then, of course, as I mentioned previously, he was also the DP on The Green Knight. And I think throughout his work, the decisions he makes with finding a way to capture, even in overcast environments, even in smoky and hazy environments, to capture something that really gets to the heart of each of the characters on screen. The great decision. He always makes great decisions with shadow, and that comes like this film could not be more perfect for those sensibilities of his, with the way that shadow works into the narrative. And then, yeah, just everything. Just he lets the camera tell the story, and I feel like some of the other issues we've had with Marvel cinematography in the past is this very washed out look, and some of the lighting just feels like it's terribly overlit, and it's really hard to bring yourself to connect with something that just looks like something that is straight out of really that was filmed in a total green screen environment. You can recognize that, but with this going to those physical locations, it does make a huge difference in the way that we bring ourselves as the audience to connect with the film.
Absolutely. A solid A- for me for Thunderbolts. Really, really appreciated this film. It's just the kind of film we needed for the MCU right now from my standpoint.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm gonna give Thunderbolts a B+, but that grade could go up upon rewatch, which I definitely will be rewatching it, which is not something that I've said for many Marvel projects recently. So yeah.
All right. Well, we are going to take a quick intermission right here on Meet Me at the Movies. We had a huge list of things to run down. We're not going to get to everything. We're not going to get to probably most of them today, but I'm glad that we got a chance to spend some time talking about a surprise in Thunderbolts, which I'm really, really thankful that we got a chance to talk about that. Stick around. We'll be back with more on Meet Me at the Movies. I'm Noel T. Manning II for Thomas Manning. We'll be right back.
Won't you come and meet me at the movies? Won't you come and watch a flick?
Hi, I'm Nikki Bliss Carroll, your host for Cleveland Connections, the show that explores what's happening at Cleveland Community College. Join us as we sit down with members of faculty and staff to discuss programs of study, upcoming events, and other exciting campus news. We'll have a new show for you each month on C19 TV, or you can stream us online at c19.tv. Tune in and connect with Cleveland Community College on Cleveland Connections.
Won't you come and meet me at the movies? Won't you come and watch a flick?
Hello welcome back to Meet Me at the Movies, right here on C19 TV. Noel T. Manning II, joined with Thomas Manning. Before the break, we gave you some thoughts on a great film that we both appreciated, Thunderbolts, MCU film you can find in theaters now. And another film we want to make sure we talk about is one that, talk about a surprise, Thomas. This one kind of came out of nowhere, and it's the kind of film that you see the trailer and you're really not sure what you're going to get into. Ryan Coogler released this film called Sinners. And Thomas, this is one of those genre-defying films that, honestly, I'm going to go ahead and give you a preview. I think it's a masterpiece.
Yes.
It finds a way to blend horror, historical drama, and even a backdrop musical to boot. And a film set in 1932 Mississippi, and it's got some supernatural elements. You're like, what? So I'm going to set that up and let you dive into your thoughts on Sinners with Michael B. Jordan playing two roles.
Yeah, so Ryan Coogler, of course, director of Fruitvale Station and the Black Panther films and Creed with Michael B. Jordan. And so now this means that Michael B. Jordan has been in every single film that he's directed. And a lot of us had our eye on this film, especially those of us who keep up with movies. And, you know, this is a big part of our lives. But I think what's been so special about this movie is how it's reached audiences that don't even make a trip to the movie theater but one or two or three times a year. So many people have been going out of their way to make sure that this is, if they're going to make a trip to the theater, this is going to be one of those films they see. And I think that was very unexpected. And but when you have an artist like Ryan Coogler who's going to put every part of his soul into a movie like this, then it's going to reach those audiences. And I think the best way to describe this film, with art in general, I think the best works of art can build a bridge between the past, the present, and the future. And art, you know, expressions of art can connect us to where we came from and where we're going. And I really think that Ryan Coogler taps into that in Sinners, really combining every single individual art form into the rich tapestry that is a motion picture. And all of this is directly expressed in one particular sequence, which I think is the best the best sequence of the year, the best scene I've seen in a very long time. And it's about how music has the power to kind of transcend space and time. But it's not just in that one scene that this energy reaches the viewer. I think that's something that you can get in pretty much any frame of the film. You can examine a single just still image of this film and spend an hour analyzing the hidden details and the themes that are being communicated. I just think, just the existence of this film is an argument for the importance of film as an art form.
Absolutely. And you talk about themes. To me, there were three themes that kind of spoke to me. Music as connection, music as liberation was something that was really incredible to me. And the music in this we see is really focused around blues music. And there's this powerful force that we see in this blues music that finds a way to connect to spiritual and physical realms. And it's not just a form of self-expression, it's much deeper than that. So I think music as liberation was something that spoke to me, and the music was absolutely phenomenal in this film. And I'm going to let you speak about musicians that were involved in this. Also, cultural exploitation. I think it talks about cultural appropriation. Racism is shown in here, and you're seeing these supernatural elements reflecting historical and maybe even these ongoing injustices that we see in society. And then spiritual reclamation. We see African spiritual practices being shown and shown here in a different kind of light. And I think it highlights the resilience of what can happen if you allow yourself to explore spiritual traditions throughout the ages.
Yeah, and speaking more to the music element of the film, the lead, pretty much I guess the co-lead in addition to Michael B. Jordan is Miles Catton, and this is his first ever acting role, and he's going to be a name we're going to be hearing for a very long time. He not only stars and gives an incredible lead performance, but is also sings and plays the guitar, and that's actually him that's singing. He's toured on with a few pop musicians recently around the world. Just incredible vocalist, and yeah, it's his voice, it's his song, his blues guitar playing that kind of opens up this gap between realities that we see in this film, and I've just been hearing his voice in my head and hearing his song ever since I left the film. And I'm just really glad that we got to see him express himself in this way in a film like this. And for a first time actor to have a chance like this in one of the biggest films of the year, I just think that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I found the film, Thomas, to be thought provoking. As I've already kind of mentioned how it got me to think, but it was also an entertaining experience. It was truly a cinematic experience, one that I'm glad I didn't wait until it came out, for home delivery. I'm glad I went to the theater to see this. I think it's a very poignant commentary on many of the things I talked about. But we talked about other things. Let me share some other things that I really thought worked. Production design was absolutely phenomenal. You spoken about cinematography. I thought the sound design was stellar as well. Performances truly compelling. Bold storytelling. I think this film, when you start checking off the boxes, and at the end of the year, when we are evaluating the best films of the year, and you want to say, okay, what is one of the best films? I start checking the boxes, performances, story, production design, sound design. I look at all of those things, and Thomas, this thing hit all of those marks, and that is so hard to do. There's some films that you can watch and you say, wow, the performances were great, but it kind of lacked here. To me, I didn't find any minus marks for this film at all.
Yeah, and you mentioned the production design. The vast majority of the film takes place in a single location, in this warehouse that Michael B. Jordan's twin brother characters have established as a juke joint there in Mississippi, and it takes place over the course of this one night, and that's when things go a little bit awry. But every single detail of this singular location, it feels so authentic, so lived in. I mean, it feels like somewhere that you could step right into and, feel yourself going along this journey on this one single night with these characters. But you mentioned how that extends into really just every frame of the film, every corner of the film, every craftsperson that contributed something. It all works that way into the viewing experience, and you can just tell the immense passion that went into every moment here.
One of the best films of the year for me, right here on Meet Me in the Movies, a solid A+ for the film Sinners. You can still catch that in theaters. Thomas, your rating?
Yeah, I'm going to give an A+ to Sinners, and this marks 2 movies this year in which the lead actor plays dual roles. So Michael B. Jordan here, and then in Mickey 17, Robert Pattinson had 2 performances in that. So I guess it's the year of twins and clones and however else you wanted to define 2 people who look alike. So we'll see what else happens later this year if there's another a twin movie or something along those lines.
Awesome. Well, Thomas, we are about out of time, but I do want to let you talk about a special 30th anniversary screening at the Independent Picture House that you're incredibly excited about checking out.
That's right. Michael Mann's Heat, starring the late, the great Val Kilmer. They're bringing back a few of his films to pay tribute to the legend. And Heat is one of those, and it happens to be the 30th anniversary of that film as well. And it's playing at the Independent Picture House in Charlotte. Beautiful theater, nonprofit theater that does so much to cultivate an appreciation and a love for the art of film, not just within North Carolina and Charlotte, but that expands nationwide, the work they do. So go and support the Independent Picture House if you can. And I've never gotten a chance to see Heat on the big screen, and I'm going to change that. I bought tickets, and I really need to see that bank heist just on the big screen. One of the greatest action set pieces in film history, and that, yeah, I am very, very excited.
Yeah, and as you said, this is really a great theater to be able to capture some new films, of course, but to be able to see some of these classic revivals. And one of the things this summer that's going to be happening is they have a film series, the summer of '85, and they're bringing back films from that particular summer as well. So I encourage you to check out the Independent Picture House website. You can get tickets there. You can also provide your support if you choose to do that, because Thomas mentioned they are a nonprofit. Well, there are a lot of other things that we wanted to talk about, just didn't have a chance, but we do want to let you know that Poker Face Season 2 will be coming out. We want you to put that on your radar. Where can people find that, Thomas?
Oh yeah, that is on Peacock, the streaming service, and it's going to be weekly releases, and there's going to be 12 episodes in season 2, and of course Ryan Johnson, the showrunner, and Tasha Leon, the lead actress, and yeah, this is a type of show that I could watch 12 seasons of this and not get bored, so I'm very excited.
Well, yeah, and you and I got a chance to sit in on a virtual press conference for that as well. And, you know, one of the things that Ryan Johnson said was that that he really had this love of those old classic detective shows like Columbo. And he mentioned Columbo multiple times. And so that is a true influence for him on something like this. Well, I want to say thank you guys for spending time with us, however you choose to do it. Thomas, thanks for joining us, man. This has been a blast to talk about some films, and we are looking forward to giving you kind of a summer preview. And also in the future shows, we're going to also give you reviews of The Handmaid's Tale, the new season, and Andor. So look for those on future episodes, and maybe even Daredevil Born Again. So much more to talk about in future episodes right here on Meet Me at the Movies. For all of us here, we do appreciate you, and we look forward to seeing you next time. For the entire cast and crew, for Thomas Manning, I'm Noel T. Manning II, and for this week, that is a wrap.
Many films to view until we meet again. Next time we see you, we'll gladly fill you in. We'll tell about the happy and the sad ones. We'll talk about the good ones and the bad ones. Many films to view till we meet again.
Education is our most powerful tool to improve and change our world. Hi, I'm Rhonda Benfield, your host for School Matters. Join me for a new program every other week with information from and about the students and staff of Cleveland County Schools. Discover what our schools are doing to challenge students and help them reach their full potential. You can catch us on Spectrum Cable Channel 19 or stream us live on C19.tv.